What's going on, Logan? So this problem right here, what you're being asked to do is find out what x is. So this is introducing into new topics. Let me explain why. So when you look at this, you'll notice that you have this side here, right, which we would call the adjacent leg. So you have your adjacent leg, and then you have the opposite leg over here. Now you'll notice is that we actually know both of those legs. So it's not the legs we're trying to find. We're actually trying to figure out what the angle is, the x. The x is the angle this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, so we're looking at an O and an A. So we're thinking to ourselves, self, this looks like TOA, right? TOA. So then we're going to say that the tangent of the angle x, the tangent of the angle x is equal to O, the opposite, so the red 17, over the A, the blue 10, the adjacent leg, the blue 10. Now you'll notice that what we're trying to solve for is x, and we can't plug this into our calculator, primarily because our calculator doesn't know what the angle is, right? So what we have to do is we have to learn this new thing, and it's this it's called the inverse function. So the function inverse. So this is the way it works: is that if you see tangent of a variable is equal to a ratio, you can convert it, right? You can convert it. That thing right there is converted into its inverse form, which is just saying that the inverse tangent, the tangent inverse, and you'll notice that when I say tangent inverse, the word inverse is from right there. So that's how we say inverse, right? That's how we write inverse mathematically. So we're going to say the tangent inverse of that ratio, 17 over 10, is equal to x. And then from here, what we want to do is we want to plug that into Desmos. So we pop open our Desmos calculator and we tell Desmos, hey Desmos, we want our answers in degrees. So we click on the wrench, right? We click on the wrench and we say we only want the answers in degrees. If you keep it in radians, it's going to give you some weird numbers. So we put it in degrees and now we type it in. So we say tangent, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know how to do the inverse tangent. So what we do is we click on the function button, the function key down there, and you'll notice you have all of these. You have sine inverse, right, which we didn't want, so I'm going to have to backpedal on that guy. And then we also had tangent inverse, right? You can see tangent inverse and cosine inverse. We wanted tangent inverse. And the ratio that we were doing, let me go back, double check, make sure I got it right, is going to be 17 over 10. So we're going to type that in. We're going to go tangent inverse of 17 divided by 10. And our answer is 59.53445, or 59.5 degrees. So I go back over here, and since this, right, since this was our final answer, this is our final answer, which was 59.5, we're going to round it to one decimal. So we're going to say 59.5 degrees is what x is. So we now know that this angle, right, this angle x, let me get another color, this angle x right here, we now know that that is 59.5 degrees. Now, a second question I'm going to ask is, after you find that angle, I want you guys to figure out, what is this angle, right? What is that third angle over there? And if you remember, the angles of a triangle will always add up to 180. So let's call this angle over here y. So I want you to find the third angle, right? Or maybe, you know what, instead of y, let's call it t, right? I want you to find angle t. YT for third angle. So I want you to find angle t. So we know that if we take angle t and we add it up to the 59.5 and we add that to 90, because that's what this angle is over here, the total set should equal 180. We combine like terms, or we combine the numbers, we get t plus 149.5 is equal to 180, right? And then we subtract the 149.5 from both sides, minus the 149.5 from both sides, and we find out that t, right, the measurement of angle t is equal to 30.5 degrees. 30.5 degrees. And this is what I want you guys practicing, okay? So just remember that if you know the tangent of x is 17 over 10, if you know the tangent of x and you know its ratio, you can convert that. You can convert that to the inverse tangent, and then you can plug that or the tangent inverse, you can plug that into your Desmos calculator and it'll tell you what your angle is. Just remember, make sure that degrees is the way it's set. If you have questions, let me know, and I will talk to you guys later.